So like I said in my last video, I'll be doing a full breakdown of EXP Carmilla, meaning I'll be going through what builds and emblems and other stuff you should do when using her in the EXP. And for a quick disclaimer, I am not a pro player, so any criticism to anything wrong that I say is much appreciated. Okay, so first off, I'll be talking about the builds. For Carmilla, there are two choices, either full tank or cooldown reduction. So a tank build is pretty straightforward. You just buy tank items according to the enemy draft. For example, in this game I'm up against Yuzong, so a tank item I should buy is Dominant Size to counter his healing. If you have enough experience in this game, you should know how to build a tank build, so I'm mainly going to be going through the cooldown reduction build. But when needed, I will go back to the tank build. So first thing you want to buy is Thunderbelt. Most of the meta EXP tanks can just naturally pair well with Thunderbelt, and Carmilla is no different. Her passive allows her to steal hybrid defense from enemies. She can only steal defense one time from one enemy, which is why it is important to attack as many enemies as you can. More defense stolen equals to more Thunderbelt damage. I would recommend not getting Thunderbelt if there is a lot of true damage on the enemy side. People like Bellman shouldn't be that much of an issue since their true damage is not that much, but Alpha is a totally different story. All the Thunderbelt stacks you get are completely useless against true damage. For the second item, I go with Clock of Destiny. They changed the Clock of Destiny to make it work well with magic tanks. Then after that, they added a plus 10% cooldown reduction, which makes it even better. The best way to describe the Clock of Destiny is like a War Axe but for magic damage dealers. Having more magic power will increase their damage and sustain from Carmilla's first skill, so Clock of Destiny will help with that. Carmilla's first skill will help you to get the Clock of Destiny stacks. The problem is that her first skill will only last for so long, which will make it hard to maintain those stacks. So we will counteract this with more cooldown reduction. Which brings us to the third item, which is Oracle. With these two items and the support emblem, you can reach 30% cooldown reduction. Oracle can also pair well with Carmilla's first skill since it can increase healing effects. Every time Carmilla's first skill hits an enemy, she will regain HP. Having Oracle will increase this. As you can see, the amount she heals is higher now. When using an EXP tank, people will usually like to pair it up with a support roam, which will make Oracle even better. Having Oracle will increase the heals and shields from your support, which is why I recommend using Oracle even in the tank build if you have a support. At this point, you could go with Brute Force Breastplate to get the 40% cooldown reduction, but I feel that 30% is already enough for her. At this point, it would be more effective if you went with defensive items according to the enemy draft. Now let's talk about the emblems. If you are using the tank build, you should use the common emblem with Vitality, Tenacity and Concussive Blast. The common emblem is to help with mana in the early game since she does struggle with that. And since you are using a tank build, you don't need any cooldown reduction, so you don't need the support emblem. And the Concussive Blast is to help with wave clearing. If you are using a cooldown reduction build, use the support emblem. The first two talents are the same, but as for the third one, I went for Impure Rage. This is to help with the mana problem since you don't have the common emblem. With Impure Rage, you can also deal max HP damage, which should help in trading with the other enemy. Now, who does she counter and who you should avoid? Since she is a tank, she can actually counter those that rely on their high burst damage. Heroes like Arlette, Khalid and Benedetta are good examples. And she will naturally struggle against those that are designed to take down tanks. Examples are CC, Dairoth and Xbox. Here is her combo. Use her ultimate on 2 or more enemies and straight away follow up with your second skill. And use your first skill to start doing damage. So what makes her stand out from other tank EXP laners? First off, she has pretty good damage and sustain in the early game, which gives her the ability to hold her ground. I'm pretty sure that is why people don't use these setter tanks as EXP laners. Their level 4s are super useful for turtle fights, but they just cannot survive against another EXP laner. There is a tank that can hold her ground better than Carmilla, which is Hilda. But one big disadvantage of Hilda is that she is not that good in team fights. She does not have an ability to set for her team, which is where somebody like Terizla comes in. He is known for being good at setting for his team and holding his ground. The disadvantage of Terizla, however, is that his mobility is very bad. Carmilla's mobility, however, is pretty good because of her second skill. Khalid excels in mobility, however, because of his Sandwalk. He also has an ultimate that can set for his team. And Gatard's ultimate is so big that he doesn't even need a fast moving speed. What sets them apart from Carmilla is the difficulty to set. Khalid's and Gatard's ultimates are actually pretty slow. The second Carmilla uses her ult, enemies inside it will immediately be slowed, making it easier to set. One big disadvantage of her is to target the backline. This is something Khalid, Terizla and Gatard are really good at. Carmilla does not have an ability to just jump into the backline like them. But overall, she has good sustain and damage in the early game, can tank, has good mobility and she can set for her team, which in my opinion makes her a pretty solid EXP laner. The gameplay that I've been showing in this video will also be in my next video and my last video of the season.